Hey, before you go, say hey, Familia.
Hi.
What's up, Familia?
We are back with another one.
Another baby.
Yes, so tonight we will be having relationship talk. So what we did was we put a post out on social media and we just asked for basically feedback on what you all would like to know as far as relationships, and like gave us some topics we can talk about. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're just going to be giving y'all a little feedback on what we think or what we've experienced,
and then also kind of speak on a lot of the feedback that we did get, because the question that I did post and it was all over social media, it was, outside of trust and communication, what helps a relationship grow? So we got a lot of feedback from different people. We're gonna read a couple of those, kind of speak on a couple of them, and just kind of give our intake on how we make things work and how we can kind of relate to a bunch of this stuff that we actually read and that we actually read off. So yeah, that's what we're gonna get into. And what?
So let me make a disclaimer before we get into this. First, I do want y'all to, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also share this because, you know, we want y'all to get this out there. Second thing, why are you laughing?
Once again, I mean, not knowing what to do.
I want to make a disclaimer. No, we are not perfect. No, our marriage is not perfect. Never has been. We've had our ups and downs. So don't think that, oh, they think they know it and who are they to come and tell us what we should do. That's not what this video is for. We're just talking on the subjects. So yeah, before y'all start trying to give us thumbs down.
All right.
So let's get into this. Outside of trust and communication. Outside of trust and communication.
The reason I said that is because if you just say what will help a relationship grow, everybody's going to be like trust and communication. That's always like the number one answer.
Okay, so first one, respect and consideration. With respect and communication, I feel like that can be anything. Respecting each other's privacy, respecting each other's schedule, respecting personal space, respecting just being your own self, respecting your role, because although we are a union, you still have to respect that, okay, sometimes I'm going to need my time to myself, and that's okay. And you're going to need your time to yourself. And I have to respect that, okay, sometimes he's going to be working, I have to let him do his work. Because we both work hard, and so it's like, as much as I would like for you to
be all cuddled up on you.
Yeah, I have to respect that he's working, that can wait. So when it comes to that, I just have to think about, okay, what's the bigger picture? Okay, he's not just ignoring me. He needs this time for himself, which I need my time for myself. And so that comes into consideration. So if I know that he needs something and I feel like that I have something going on myself, I'm going to make sure that, okay, not only do I take that time out for myself, but I make sure that I devote some kind of time to him too. So I try to consider him and make sure that I include him. That way he don't feel like, oh, she just leaving me out the picture. Because as a mommy, you can get so wrapped up with having a little one that sometimes you do forget. And he did, when I first had Junior, he made that known. He was like, I'm not getting any attention. And I was like,
facts.
And it hurt me because I was like, dang.
And that's the thing, like, sometimes when we communicate and stuff like that, we're not looking to hurt, but it's better to say it than it go unsaid. So with that situation, I said it for the simple fact that I wanted her to know how I felt, because I do know new moms, when that baby come out, it takes your world and it flips it, and that's who you focus on the most. But when we're in it together, like, I helped make that. Like, I'm still here. Hey, like, so that was my thing on that. It's like, don't forget, I'm still here.
I'm gonna say one more thing with respect. I have to respect him as a man, because there are times where he's like, I see that he's arguing, or not necessarily arguing with other people, but like, he's in a heated conversation. Sometimes I want to interject and step in, but I have to respect him that he can carry it his own way. He can speak for himself. So I have to like fall back. And as much as like, as a wife,
you want to
as a mother, I want to protect him, but it's like, no, you fall back, he got it. So I have to respect him as a man and let him handle those conversations, especially when there's men involved. It's just like, okay, that's not my place. I need to respect him and let him handle it, as he would do the same for me. Like, if I'm having a conversation or I'm in a heated argument with other females, he's not gonna step in, because like, okay, she can handle that herself. I don't need to.
I was gonna say, and the difference, and the big thing on that is, even when we step in, is to diffuse our partner. Like, we're not stepping in to help our partner. We're helping to diffuse our partner. So me stepping in, all right, babe,
like,
come on, let's go. Calm down.
Okay.
That's a good question, though. Well, not a good question, but some good input.
Knowing God together. This is big for me.
Yeah.
This is big for me. So when I met him, like, I went to church, but I wasn't in church heavy as he was. So he kind of exposed me, like, to going to church every Sunday. They were having morning service, night service, going to church during the week. Like, it got to a point where I felt like I was at church, like,
majority of the week.
Like,
we there all week.
4 or 5 days out the week.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it so much, because I always believed in God, but like, I didn't have a relationship. Like, I always like believed, but I didn't have a relationship. I didn't pray. I didn't do as much as I do now. And I felt like, had I not been exposed to that, we wouldn't have been able to get as far as we have gotten through a lot of the stuff that we've been through. So, I mean, knowing God together, that, I will say, that has brought us closer, because anyone that knows us, with everything we've been through, they will always tell you, when we pray together, when we have our mind made up on something, we pray together, we know it's gonna happen. We know it's gonna happen. We we get down and we like, okay. There's even times where I'm like, okay, you know what? We need to get down on our knees, like, now.
You gotta pray about it.
We pray.
And that's where, like she said, and this is all due to my mom, man. Being in church since 2 years old, at the same church, and she can tell you, everybody knows my face in this church.
Right.
So, me already having a relationship with God, so once she came the first time, she came every time I went to church. Every time I was at church, she was at church. Even when we were going through what we were going through, she was still going to my church.
Right.
She was still in there. So it still kept us, what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Connected. What is it? Spiritually connected. It still kept us very well connected. So knowing God together has helped us tremendously. And it's pivotal when it comes down to relationships.
Right.
It is very pivotal.
It really is, because
It'll get you through a lot.
it will.
We've had hard times, we've had great times, and never have we not thanked God. Even when we get on the road to go home, we're praying, we're doing all of this. And when you can tell just based off of people's energy, and that's become really big to us also. It's just positive energy,
Right.
not even worried about the negative. So the knowing God part is just staying positive and having that positive energy to know that what we pray about is going to work out. It
Right.
might not come as soon as you want it, but it's in the works.
Right. And one thing I took from his godfather, is when we were going through those hard times in our marriage. One thing he told me, he was like, don't put faith in man. Put faith in God, that he will come forth in that man. And I've always, since that moment, I've always lived by that. It's like, okay, I have to pray that, God, I know what you've imparted into him, so I know that that's going to come forth. I just have to stay grounded and pray over him, and pray that what he's going through, you're going to bring him out of it for the best.
Yep.
So that really played a major part in our marriage. Like, me knowing God and knowing to pray over my husband and pray for him, even when times were rough. It's like, okay, I don't understand this, but obviously you're doing something in his life. So let me just pray that whatever you're doing in his life, that he comes and you're going to show me what you're doing, and I'm going to receive it. I might not receive it now, but I'm going to receive it. So
it comes.
I just had to, just be patient. Just be patient and trust the process with this man.
Yeah.
Okay, so consistency, compassion, and compromise. The 3 C's. I like that.
Yeah, I do like that.
Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan, shout out to you, brother.
Okay, so consistency. Consistency, we got that a lot. Oh, I hate that. We got consistency a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency is so important, because when you are in a routine of something, and then you start to stray away from it, it's like, okay, what is going on right now? I need you to come back. Mm-hmm. Or when you're used to something, and I'm the type of person where I have to be in control. I like to be in control. And so when things are out of my control, I lose it. I flip shit. Sorry. I do. So what I do is I make it known. I try not to nag, because what I've learned is when you tell a man something, you don't have to tell him multiple times. He heard you the first time. He might not do it on the first time, but he heard you. Most of the time it's because he doing something else. He playing the game. He not paying attention. He doesn't have your undivided attention. You don't have his undivided attention.
Yeah.
But he heard you, so he might not do it. So I have to say, okay, hey babe, I need you to get with it. I need you to get with it.
Yeah.
And that can be anything. That can be with taking out the trash. If I'm used to you taking out the trash every Sunday and putting it out on the curb, then it's I need you to do that. Or if I'm used to you kissing me, because this is what I'm used to, consistency. When he leaves before work, he kisses me on the forehead, regardless if I'm in the bed asleep or if I'm getting dressed. He kisses me on the forehead. When I don't get that, I'm calling him
I ain't get my kiss.
You forget something? Did you forget something? You having a bad morning? Do you need to come back and roll on the other side of the bed and get out the bed? Because I ain't getting no kiss. We don't do that.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't do that.
Even if I'm running late, I make sure, all right, babe, I'm out. Give her a kiss.
Right.
I make sure to do that.
And consistency with effort. Just show me that you put in some kind of effort. I want consistency and effort. I want consistency when it comes to you just, I don't know.
Just, it's like consistency is, I would say,
with communication, like,
yeah, it's like that, just showing that I'm paying attention. Like,
right.
Even if you feel like I'm not paying attention, like, it's little stuff that I pay attention to with her that, I don't know, it's just like embedded in me now. So I know she like lemon heads. Sometimes I might pop up at a job with some lemon heads. Here, babe, you might be having a rough day.
No, you don't have to always pop up.
No, I'm just saying, but that's just the thing of where,
like paying attention,
that's
taking
the,
notes.
yeah, and
okay.
that's just me, because I can be consistent with that and keeping that on in my head to be like, all right, I've always known this is what she like, either that or some hot tamales. Compromise.
Well, that was compromise. In any relationship, if you want it to be a successful relationship, there's going to have to be some kind of compromise. You're not going to always agree on everything. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to come to a common ground and compromise on things. Like, it can be dinner. I always compromise on dinner because he loves Burger King. Loves it. I work next door to Burger King. It's like, I don't care to eat Burger King. I don't. But I compromise and say, okay, I'm that person that goes to Burger King and get a grilled chicken sandwich. But I compromise. Compromise can be with household things. It's like, okay, you want to decorate the bathroom and raise a bed red. I want to do it in orange. Like, we're not doing that.
Touche.
Compromise with
Touche. So the thing about that is my bathroom that I do my hair stuff in is red. Our bathroom is a more feminine, subtle, but it's nice. So you can tell, like, all right, he felt this and she felt that, but it works out.
I did my thing.
No, you definitely do your thing. Usually when it comes down to the house, I just don't have a say. I just let her do her thing.
But yeah, you have to compromise because we're two different people.
And I want to say this. Everybody, when it comes to compromise, they have this thing of 50-50.
Right.
Yes, very much true, 50-50. But when you look at a person, it's 100-100. It's 100% of her coming in, and it's 100% of me coming in. Thing is, I'm going to have to cut away 50% to allow 50% of her in. That's that compromise where it's like, in order to be 100 equally together, we both got to lose something. I've had this conversation with a couple family members. So it's like people who really close to me too. You got to be willing to compromise, because if you're not, it's just going to be an uphill battle the whole time. Be willing to understand somebody else and how they feel.
Right.
Because if you want a relationship, you're going to make sure that you understand how that other person feels. It's not just going to be, oh, I want it this way, and that's how it's going to be.
Right.
Because then it's just going to be a dictatorship.
Right.
And don't nobody want to be in it. So that's how I feel on compromise. She said how she feel. Compromise can go on all day.
Right.
What was the last C?
Compassion.
Showing compassion, being compassionate. I don't know how I do it. I don't know if I just give off an energy, or she gives off an energy, or it's like a mood to where I can feel like, babe, need a hug.
Yes.
Like you when you've been around somebody long enough, you can look them in their face. Every guy does it. Babe, what's wrong? Nothing. Every guy does it. Right. So you know it's something wrong. So now I don't even get to that babe, what's wrong. I might do it just to do it, but yesterday she was sitting after a long, long day. Yes. She had a long day. I just told her, babe, come here. You need a hug. Gave her a real good hug. and allowed her to go sit in the tub for a whole hour. I thought she was in there asleep. I allowed her to sit in there for a whole hour.
He said allowed because
Junior.
I don't get to take baths like that.
Because if Junior hear that bath water turn on,
it's over. Ain't no bath.
He getting in the bath with you, regardless if you want to relax or not.
Right, regardless if you got bubbles in the tub and candles lit, he's getting in there.
He gonna get out his clothes and try to get in there with just a diaper on. So that's why I say I allowed her, because I was like, all right, Junior, just make sure you close the door. I got him.
Right. Yeah.
So how you feel on
with
compassion?
Compassion. I have to. That's one thing that I do have to pay attention to, because as a woman, sometimes we feel like, oh, he a man, he's supposed to be strong. It's like they put on this like front like, oh, I got it. But you have to realize that they have long days, they have hard days, and as a man, in their pride, they don't want to show that all the time. But you have to like check in and be like, hey, I know you had a long day. Come on. Let me rub on you.
I would say I can tell you exactly what she do. She allowed me to lay in her lap, and she'll just rub my head.
Yes.
And that's showing me like you want to be tough, but you soft.
Right.
I got you.
I let them know it's okay, babe. Yeah. It's okay. I got you.
She done seen me break down and go through some of the toughest times. So.
Yes.
And just when her doing that, me breaking down, crying, she doesn't stand there and cry with me. She will be there for me, console me, and make sure I'm okay. Right. That's the compassion side of it. So just being compassionate, being there for your person,
right,
and not making it more about yourself, just being there for them in that moment is really huge.
Actual bonding time, that's good, because when you become a parent, you hardly get bonding time with just the two of you.
My son's jealous.
Right.
As ever.
If you have a daughter, she's probably gonna take over your position as a wife. She's gonna step in and be like, Mommy, this ain't your man, this my man. And if you have a son, it's gonna be vice versa. He's gonna be like, I'm your man now. So it's just like
I can't kiss her without him showing up.
You have to find some time to bond, whether it be in the car, because we used to have to bond in the car. Like when I was taking him to work, that was our time to talk and ask each other, how's your day, how's it going. Mm-hmm. Like when we had those moments alone in the car, because Junior was at daycare and we was like,
alright, he good.
Right. We would
up.
have time to catch up and like really bond and have conversation and check in and say, okay, what's going on with you? Mm-hmm. Not that we don't do that, but it's just like when you don't have that distraction.
And I was gonna say, even outside of marriage, but I say that because bonding time, being in the boyfriend-girlfriend stage,
yes,
really learning somebody, really allowing there to build a relationship,
right,
building a friendship, building that, and actually getting to that point, that bonding time is really good also, because you really get to learn the person,
right,
that you're looking at, almost, because I was looking at her weekly. I'm looking at her every Friday. I'm picking her up from school. Like, I get out of school, go to her school, pick her up, and then we go back to my house, or we go do something. Like, so we bonded.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they say, oh, you won't know someone until you actually move in with that person, which you find out a lot about a person when you move in with them. But because we have bonded before we even moved in with each other, mm-hmm. like, I knew what bothered me. Like, when he would come pick me up and I would go over his house and his room would be a mess, I would be like, what is this? Like, how is you living like this? Like, what is going on? But it's like, okay, I know him. So what we did was I would just clean up his room. But like with bonding, like we spent so much time together, whether it was going to church, because when I got with him, I was always at church. We was going to church together. Like you said, he was always picking me up from school on Fridays. Like He would pick me up.
I would legit, sometimes I would get off work, either I'm smelling like chicken or I'm smelling like
Right.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah, that was crazy. He would go from Abercrombie and Fitch to Buffalo Wild Wings.
or vice versa.
Right. It was so crazy, but we enjoyed each other because, like, we were like the best of friends. We were like, clicked.
Immediately.
Right. We bonded over anything and everything. We bonded over music, food, movies. Like, we bonded over a bunch.
And that's why I say, like, that bonding time, even at that relationship stage, is good because.
And we still bond over that stuff. Like, now, we still bond over that stuff. Definitely. So, learning from our mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes, but I will say we've learned so much from those mistakes. So I thank God every moment for everything that we went through because it made us who we are now. And once you can go through your mistake and you can learn from it, it will take you so much further. So, mistakes. It's one thing to make a mistake and constantly do it or make an excuse for it or like not even just see it as a mistake. But when you can actually say, okay, this happened, this is why it happened, what can I do to prevent that from happening again? Or how did it get to this point?
Go. You in there now. You right. In there now. Go. Right.
Man, I made some mistakes on my part. And one, it was from ignorance. Two, it was from being selfish.
Sorry, this was
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, talk.
And three, it was for... I don't know what the third one is. But I would say ignorance because a lot of times when we make mistakes, it's because we feel like we doing what we should do or what we know how it should be. For instance, like when we would get into arguments, I was the aggressor. I was the one that was yelling and cursing and picking up things and wanting to throw stuff around. And I did that because I didn't know how to communicate the right way. When you see something or you've learned a behavior, that's what you do. And it's like, okay, I had to change that for myself because it's just like, that's not how, just because that's what I've seen or that's what I learned, that's not how it should be. So I had to learn that for myself that, okay, you need to learn how to communicate, Helen, because you can't be fighting people because you're going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail. Right. You gonna go to jail.
So yeah, like so what so yeah.
I mean, I just took everything that happened and it's like, okay, if I find myself in this position again, then that obviously means that I need to change something because when you find yourself repeating the same thing, it's like, okay, a lesson not learned is a lesson repeated. So I need to learn something from this and take it and keep it moving. So that's what I did. I tried to, anytime something happens, it's like, okay, let me evaluate this situation. What can I take from this? How did it get to this point? And what am I going to learn from this? Okay.
Yeah, so me, now this is from the man side of the house because we all know men make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
We all make mistakes. But men get caught making dumb mistakes. Right? Wrong. It is right. Like
wrong is right.
No, like it's wrong. But what I'm saying is it's right that we get caught and that we learn from it. Right. So with that being said, it's kind of like a stepping stone. Like take that mistake, take it to the chin. Man up to it because at a certain point where the age that I was at, I wouldn't man up to stuff. Right. I would just try to fight it, lie about it, blah, blah, blah. it doesn't benefit in the long run. Of course, me saying it now, it's kind of cliche because you hear it from anybody and everybody, bro. Just man up to it. Just man up to it. It's easier to lie. It's so hard to tell the truth. But
why is it so hard to tell the truth?
it's hard to tell the truth to people that, you already know the saying, like, it's hard to tell the truth to people that you care the most about because you don't want to see them hurt. But at the end, you're still going to see them hurt because if you got a detective like I do, she's still going to find out. So, I would just say use it as a stepping stool to really climb over whatever it is that you're trying to get over. And in my situation, I was just trying to get over things that I seen growing up, things that I kind of learned growing up. So me doing the mistakes that I made, it's built me into something much better. So that mistakes, man, you gotta take them. Every punch that gets thrown at you, you gotta take it and keep it pushing. Because if you continue to dwell in it, you're going to be in a small, like, pit of sand, like quicksand. It's just not going to do nothing for you.
Right.
So, with that, like, it's kind of big, too. You got to let stuff go.
But you also have to accept your truth and live in your truth. Because when you can accept that, yes, I made a mistake. Yes, this is my truth and this is my reality, life won't be as like a heavy weight to carry. It's like you won't, because sometimes when you make a mistake, you carry that with you, like, oh, I made a mistake, I'm this bad person. And you might not say it, but you you messed up. And so you carry that on you and you feel that pressure on you. But like once you can accept, like, hey, this is what I did, but this is my truth, this is what I learned from it, then it's like a weight can be lifted off of you, because you can say, you know what, I did make a mistake, but you know what, the truth will set you free.
Live and learn.
Right.
All right, last one.
Intimacy, not just sex. I'm so glad that Mama said that.
Mama died.
Not just sex, because intimacy is not just sex.
Fact.
It is not. When I say intimacy, he can be playing on a game, and I can be right there, and I can just be, I will fall, it never feels, I will fall asleep in his lap because I feel so relaxed. I feel so comfortable. I feel so secure. Like, it's like I got my man, Junior is asleep, and it's like, I just want to be right there in his lap. I ain't got to be doing nothing. I can be just laying there, and he can be loud as ever on the game, but I feel at peace. I feel, like I said, I feel secure. I feel relaxed. It's just like, I feel like I can just.
And like I said, when she allows me to be that soft dude and lay up on her and cuddle up on her.
Soft dude whenever you want to. Come on.
When she allows that, like, and she.
I'm saying allow.
I'm not saying that you don't allow me. Like, it's always open, but it's just a simple fact that when I choose to be that.
Right.
So when I choose, let me say that, when I choose to soften up or whatever, or just have some emotions that are shown a little bit different, and I lay up on her and she rubs me, she rubbing my head, rubbing my back, popping pimples on my back. It's all intimate in some type of way. She loves that. Like, yeah, I know all the females, they love popping pimples. They love that little pimple popper, all of that. Like, they love that. So it's intimate though. Like, it's just being connected.
Right.
Like, when you well connected, intimacy is shown. I'm coming from work one day and I just feel it. Like, feel like she's having a bad day. I have to pass her job to go get Junior. I will stop at her job just to see her smile.
And that moment, I just be like, oh.
And it's a really intimate moment for the simple fact that it lifts her spirits.
Right.
for just this small time, she might be getting off at work at 5 and I'm coming by there at 4:15. It's just, all right, that's going to get you through the rest of the day. And I know you're going to call me as soon as you get off. Like, you made me smile so much just to see you. There go babe. Right. Because I know she has a rough day. But yeah, we really appreciate a lot of the
we're gonna have to do this again because we got a lot of
yeah, I haven't even opened up Facebook. This was all of these were from Instagram. We do appreciate everybody who did send some input. If you do want us to do a part 2 and really speak on more from trust, outside of trust and communication, what helps a relationship, this is kind of, we spoke on a little bit of us, and then it's being able just to relate. So if you're able to relate, then it's perfectly fine. If not, well, like I said, just let us know and we can speak on that situation or anything like that. Well, yeah, man. So we appreciate y'all for watching. This is a lengthy video, but we do appreciate y'all for watching. And like we always say, if you're new to the family, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. All right, and this is the Familia, and we will see y'all in the next video. Peace.